People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whoever you are, wherever you are on this earth. It's a pleasure to always be back here speaking with you guys. I can't lie, I've made a lot of videos this morning. It's going to be hella work editing and uploading and the rest of it. But I hope it's appreciated because I love doing it for you guys. But listen, it's more of the same. Listen, we always hear, you know, Aubameyang's going to sign a new deal. He's close to signing a new deal. Breakthrough in Arsenal and Aubameyang reaching agreement. Aubameyang's ready to commit, but he needs to know what we're trying to do as a club. Every day we seem to be going there. Don't get me wrong. As an Arsenal fan, I love hearing that he wants to sign for the club, that he wants to stay here, you know, the whole social media antics you see from his brother, from his dad and all the rest of it. I like to see that versus him being linked with Inter, Barca, Madrid and the rest of these clubs. I think what's helped Arsenal is obviously Arteta. And I think it was a thing, you know, Aubameyang was convinced by Arteta, but he wants to see things change above him, and he's been given some sort of assurances. Maybe in hindsight, obviously when you're seeing several staff changes and things, maybe, you know, the players have known that for a while. We're just finding about it relatively over the course of this weekend / today, but maybe he knew that there was going to be changes, because, you know, if Kaya Jarutkin knew, because he didn't say it directly, but do you remember when in relation to David Luiz signing a new deal, he said stuff like, oh, there's a lot of structural changes at Arsenal to happen. And they were happening as he was saying that, you know, from academy level to boardroom. There's been many changes. So if he knows that, and I know, you know, he's the agent, I mean, his client is Edu, so he's going to find things out. But surely the players are going to know that. Surely a player that wants to stay, you know. And it's interesting because apparently Raul Sanllehi headed negotiations for Aubameyang, who's now left. So maybe it was one last parting gift. But maybe he wanted to see assurances, and now obviously with him obviously seeing changes, hearing Arteta wants players and sounds bullish, has more sort of authority over the players he wants to bring in, that's what you want to see. Obviously Aubameyang, if he's going to sign a new deal, he has to concede that potentially, you know, he's not going to claim a Premier League or a Champions League during his time at Arsenal, purely because, you know, in an ideal world I want to be challenging for that, but are we going to change into that over 18 months or 2 years? Potentially not. For us, if obviously I want Aubameyang to stay, we need players that are here for now. To a lesser extent, you've got Willian, you've obviously got Aubameyang. They're here for today. You know, they're not going to be here 5 years from now like a couple other young players. They're here for now. But what they can do right now can set us up. You know, if we can consistently get in the Champions League again, obviously the finances, attracting players, all of these things can set us up. You know, Aubameyang's probably conceded. You know, I've seen and heard what I want to see from the club, allegedly. You know, the finances and the length of the contract and the bonuses and all of these things have to be there. You know, Aubameyang's also entitled to a loyalty bonus next season. I don't know how that changes for his contract, but there's that. Obviously, being comfortable in the team, being captain, being in London and being happy and being adored by fans, these all might play small parts, but they all play a part. And for me, obviously, I'm happy to see that. I'm really happy to see that, because again, I'm not saying we're going to become a top 4 challenger team and these things, but, you know, when you're seeing your manager get more authority, when you're seeing Aubameyang potentially sign a new deal, this is what I want to see, because it screams stability, because this tells potential targets that we might not be where we want to be, but there's stability, there's a project to believe in. You know, if Arsenal can always attract players, banter aside, but if I was a reputable player, like if I was Thomas Partey, beyond the obvious people, I might listen to what Arsenal have to say. You know, I'm a Ghana man, you know, a lot of Ghanaians, you know, watch the Premier League, and a lot of them are Arsenal fans, and probably his family. Obviously the lore of the Premier League, maybe playing for a club like Arsenal historically, Arteta, but then I'm going to look here, I'm going to say there's several changes up and down. Your captain, Aubameyang, world-class player, top class, whatever, he's not committed his future. So why isn't he committed? If he believes in this thing, why isn't he committed? So it's like, am I going to come into something and it's a bit mad? Obviously, it's not always that deep, and people have to sign based on their own merit. Like, someone else's situation shouldn't affect yours, but it's something to think about. So to hear that is obviously beneficial to me, people. Like you heard, apparently Arsenal are understood to have agreed a new contract with Aubameyang, the Telegraph is saying. Apparently Arsenal are close to tying down Aubameyang to a new contract and hope it can even be wrapped up by the time Arsenal begin pre-season later this week. As you know, he's currently, apologies for the rain, he currently has a year left in his deal, but Arsenal are ready to give him a new contract worth $250k a week. James Ollie, a journalist, has even confirmed to TalkSport, or been bold enough to say to TalkSport, Aubameyang is done. When he comes from holiday, Arsenal will announce his contract. And obviously that could be it. You know, we could see it as late as this week, at the end of this week potentially, because of that. And also, you know, players that played in the cup final are not due back at London Coley until Friday or Saturday. So obviously, if Aubameyang has signed that deal, unless we've got pictures from ages ago, the photographers are not going to be there for him to do the picture and the rest of the PR stuff. So an announcement isn't going to happen unless we're going to make something else happen, people. So it's lovely to hear that, but again, until I see the shirt, until him holding the shirt or signing a new deal, I don't believe it. We have heard there is an indirect contract extension clause of an extra year in his deal, so maybe that's where the club haven't appeared as cautious, as urgent, sorry, as they should have to the fans, because we don't always know the facts. So to keep Aubameyang is good, and I don't want to be that cliche guy, but keeping Aubameyang and Saka is almost like signing two other men. For Aubameyang, we can't sign a man on his level right now with the finances. We can't afford to pay 60 plus for a striker, 50 plus for a midfielder, and then do other things. Well, we can, but we're being told it's not available. For me as well, I want to see the club, regardless of if Aubameyang commits his future, go and find a long-term replacement for Aubameyang now. Go and source him. If it's going to be Edouard of Celtic or Dembele of Lyon, go and scrutinise them over a year. Go and watch them. Go and really find what they're good and bad at. You know, Dembele came off the bench and made the difference for Lyon. But if you watch him a significant amount of times, what's he good and bad at? He didn't have the best of under-21s championships for France. Upamecano, everybody's ranting and raving, deservedly so, about him. Colossal performances against Spurs and obviously against, what was it? It weren't Atlanta, that was PSG. Who did Leipzig play? I can't remember who Leipzig played, but you all saw the performance in the Champions League that Leipzig put in. You know, when you watch Upamecano, he's a quality player and he is developing, but sometimes he does some suspect stuff. Sometimes his ball playing can put pressure on the teammates, but I would still take him. But what I mean is that go and really scrutinise that. Again, David Luiz is someone that you, like I said with Willian and Aubameyang, they're here for now. Even if I don't believe David Luiz should be in the starting lineup. I think he can do a job when coming in, but I want to see Saliba and something else. But if it's going to be David Luiz, or hope to be Gabriel, but if it's going to be David Luiz, go and look for the next long-term David Luiz replacement. You want a ball-playing centre-half, that is Upamecano. Apparently we were close. He's changed his release clause. You can bet Bayern Munich and the rest of them are going to look at him. Go and really scrutinise him and begin to lay the groundwork now, sort of thing, to how you're going to convince him to the club. Because we've got to learn from hindsight and apply better in foresight. You know, Monreal left last year. You know, he's on the wrong side of 30 and he was a fantastic servant for this club. But we're relying on someone that hasn't got too many years left, like we're doing with David Luiz, like we've previously done with Koscielny's last season or so. You know, how many games did he play? It was an unhealthy amount. He wasn't even, apparently, courtesy of the Athletic, apparently there was discontent about the fact that he played such people. So again, we need to be sourcing the players of tomorrow, how they're going to tie into this team. Do you get it? Even, okay, Xhaka's in his mid-20s, it's not really that deep. But if Xhaka wants to say he's going to leave tomorrow, and I'm not saying he isn't, where's the long term? Because even with Ozil, now we've known Ozil for a number of, we know the baggage and stuff that comes with Ozil, yeah, people. But we know Ozil is 31. Let's just say it was all playing for Ozil and he was doing this Aubameyang thing for us. Where's the next Mesut Ozil in terms of the creative approach? Now, the club clearly have been briefed, but where are they? Are you going to bring in Auba, who's a different man but can be creative but is a different profile of player? Are you going to do something else? We need to do these things because you look at the spine of the squad, midfield have age on their side, but midfield's different because we just need different options. Defence, you know, David Luiz, Socrates, they're not going to be here long enough. Mustafi, he might have age on his side, but the contract length, are we going to renew that? Which we probably shouldn't. Up front, as much as I love Aubameyang and he's here for 3 years, you've got to be looking at a next replacement in mind. Lacazette, okay, he's 29, but he's going to turn 30 next year, and it's not that deep, but I'm saying we need to apply better foresight, because I think we haven't addressed areas of this team quicker, like addressing. It's like we know Koscielny hasn't got long left in the tank, but we're not looking at a centre-half that's going to be the next Koscielny. Are we looking at an ex-striker that's going to be the next Aubameyang? I hope we are, people. I really do hope we are. We'll have to see what happens in that regards, but it's positive. But like I said, until I see him personally holding the shirt, I can't really get too carried away or believe too much, because again, till you're carrying the shirt, it's all was to me. Moving away from that though, and people on Twitter are saying Arsenal are among clubs to have shown an interest in Felipe Anderson. Had a bit of a poor season, but I don't mind him. He's 1v1, he can take people on. I think with the free signing of Willian, we don't really need him, because I like Felipe Anderson, but he's not glaringly better than what we have. And I didn't think Willian, apart from the experience of Willian, I don't think that Willian comes with that. So why add the next man? I'm happy with Willian, but there's no point. I don't mind Felipe Anderson. Obviously, Edu, our technical director, is Brazilian. Apparently, he referred him to the Brazil team to be called up. I think Felipe Anderson's a bad boy baller. I just think he's a bit hot and cold, and we've got too many men like that in the team already. So if we're going to bring in the next wide man, I know we can't get them targets there, but it needs to be someone bordered top class, world class sort of thing, with the exception of Zaha, because I like Zaha a lot. I want Zaha at the carpet, and everything I've said doesn't apply to Zaha, but I'd bring in people. But he's not coming, with Willian obviously being confirmed. So the Felipe Anderson one, I don't know if I should buy that. In relation to Juventus, they've been again linked with Lacazette, and it's been put on Sky Sports, so there might be a bit more to that, but until that's decided, I don't know. Obviously, they've just brought in Pirlo, and there's a number of decisions to probably be made around that squad. So I don't know if Lacazette is a priority or not, because you look around at that team, you know, they have got young players in the ranks, but it's probably time to blood a couple of young players a bit more at Juventus. And Lacazette, he's a person that isn't old but isn't young. He's here for the present, and they've got a lot of men like that. But he present a good opportunity. It'd be a good player for them in their squad. I think for Lacazette, it's undoubtedly a great opportunity. Playing for a colossal club in Juventus, competing in the Champions League, you're 99% likely to pick up a league title. I know Inter Milan are signing other players and things to try and challenge Juventus, but it seems at least for the next 2 years at least, Juventus will keep being this colossus. Such is life. So we'll have to see what happens. And away from that though as well, people, Arsenal's head of physiotherapy, Chris Morgan, has rejoined Liverpool's backroom staff ahead of next season. So congratulations to him on his move to Liverpool. You know, he's worked with England, he's worked with Arsenal, he's worked with Liverpool. For whatever reason he wants to return, it is what it is, you know. We'll have to deal with that, and you know, we'll probably bring in a replacement addition. But for now, it's always a pleasure. Deluded, I'm out.